have you picked up any fun new hobbies during quarantine?
Well, I'm dancing more with my kids. We like to blast our music and dance around the kitchen. I love doing that. I'm playing basketball with my son every day as a way to get some exercise. We've been doing more board games. What else? And cooking. I'm not a great cook. I'm usually pretty good on breakfast. My wife is an amazing cook, but so we're all doing more cooking. My kids are actually learning to be great cooks. So I'm pretty good on pasta. My mom was Italian, and I can do omelets and stuff. But what we've learned really during this time, I think we're all reassessing that quality time with family is really important. We're lucky we're safe. I miss hugging people. I mean, I hug my wife and my kids every day, but that human connection. And as I said, we have to leave this crisis with a commitment to a different kind of America. There is no going back to normal. We have to have a new commitment around issues of justice, around issues of inclusivity, intersectionality, and really around human connection. I think that's what I'm taking from this. I'm inspired by people who are figuring out ways to connect, whether it's over Zoom or even in the neighborhood, with social distancing or what I like to call physical distancing. But again, your generation, I think, is going to lead on this in powerful ways. We can't let over 100,000 people in this country die in vain without saying we're going to end up with it, without having a different kind of America. And I think that's the opportunity here. And I really believe that your generation, look, my daughter's graduating from high school this month. And we participated in the beautiful graduation ceremony that President Obama and Kevin Hart and LeBron James organized. And afterwards, Mirabelle said to me, Dad, I actually have a lot of hope. I think my generation we have this common experience. It's sad you don't get to celebrate, but we can turn this around and make it something beautiful. And that's my hope for your generation and for the country. And I've seen it with my own daughter. I think it's possible.
So I don't think I've picked up any new activity or not, because I have 4 little kids at home running around all the time, and we're running this campaign. But one of the things we're doing with my kids is every day we are doing a Facebook Live session with an inspirational quote. And then my kids, who are 14, 12, 9, and 5, are interpreting that quote. And it's, to have a 5-year-old interpret a Yogi Berra quote or a Maya Angelou quote, it is priceless. And so if you're interested and want to be motivated for the day, go to our Facebook page at Ben Siegel for Congress and check out our inspirational motivational quote. It's been awesome to do that with my kids. And quite honestly, it's been funny and inspiring and motivating all at the same time.
Oh man, I've gotten a lot better at my Instant Pot. I don't know that it's new. I was doing it before, but I've gotten a lot more creative, like willing to try some stuff that I was a little bit freaked out by before. So that's been good. And I've kind of gotten heavy into puzzles, which I get is like super, super nerdy. But I'm about to hit my 3rd 1,000-piece puzzle. It's on the table right now. The last one nearly killed me. It was all candy bars and different things, so there was a lot of uniformity, and I was stumped for a while, but I broke through all, powered through it, finished the puzzle, and now I've got another one all boxed up on the table, ready to go. So yeah, those are not cool new hobbies, Instant Pot and puzzle, but I'm not cool, so I guess it's on brand.
It's hard to pick up a hobby when you're running for Congress. It's pretty all-consuming. I have sort of doubled down on some hobbies. So one thing, I'm an avid biker. Very often, and certainly when the weather cooperates, I bike into work from my house to my office, my company in Boston. So I've actually started biking through every town in our district to meet people at a very socially responsible distance and learn about what they're dealing with and see if I can help, but also see what I can learn from them. But actually, the one I'd like to highlight, which might be more applicable for everyone, because I would recommend it to everyone, is for years I've been getting together monthly with some of my college mates for a documentary night where we pick a documentary film, we watch it, and then we're on Zoom beforehand socializing, and afterwards we're on Zoom or WebEx or GoToMeeting, and we're talking about what we thought about the documentary, what we learned. Sometimes they're really funny and they're just for enjoyment. Sometimes they're very educational, like about the impact of dark money in politics. And we've actually started doing it weekly now. And it's a great way to socialize, learn more about our world and what we might do about it, but also with the funny ones. And I would recommend the documentary about Banksy, Exit Through the Gift Shop, which was a very amusing documentary. But it's a great way to get together with your friends, your family. And I would be remiss, my kids would be mad at me if I didn't say that. I've also learned about some great social games on the web with them as well.
I've been privileged to have some really great hobbies. Building a boat and a kayak, which I kayaked around Cape Cod with, was an awesome hobby. Honestly, quarantine has hit just as my candidacy was announced. So my hobby right now is running a campaign, which takes me from sunrise to sunset. But I have to say, as a hobby, if you can count eating Ben & Jerry's fudge chocolate ice cream, I'd probably say that is my number one hobby right now. But fortunately, this video camera is above the waistline, so we're good.
No, I've actually been working pretty hard. No new hobbies. I have been thinking about dragging out some of my musical instruments, but I've been too busy. You know, maybe in the coming weeks or so I will have time to do that. But
fun new hobbies during quarantine. I just spend a lot of time at home. I really have worked so hard to make sure that I keep some of my routines. I'm a yogi. I love yoga. It's so grounding to me. So I used to really refuse to do yoga online, and I got myself to get used to it, and started to really find a connectedness there. I also spend a great deal of time with my daughter, and I'm trying to get her to like math, because I love math. I graduated with a math and econ degree, and I feel like math is kind of like a puzzle. So I'm trying to get her to like it without calling it math. Don't tell her I call it math.
Oh, I don't know if you've been asking all the candidates, but let me tell you this. I have 3 little kids, a 7-year-old and 2.5-year-old, almost 3-year-old twins. It was not fun. Quarantine is not fun when you worry about, trying to teach your kid how to read or, along those lines. But what has been fun is the small moments, the moments where they're playing in the bath and suddenly the room is covered with water, or the moments that you can, have a meal and say, I'm not going to clean up. But talking to a mom, a woman, and probably most of the other, people in your audience, if they have kids, sadly, quarantine is not fun. It's showing that gender inequality is real, that moms are taking more of the responsibility in terms of caring for sick family members, caring for sick children. And so I don't have a good answer because it's difficult. It's a difficult time for many of us.
I've got a 6-week-old child, so no. my hobbies have become getting up every 3 hours and taking care of an infant. So no, I would not say that I've been doing a lot of woodworking or bread baking in quarantine. But at the same time, it's been a wonderful experience to welcome Teddy to the world.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I finally, for the first time, have the ability to sit with my wife and cook dinner. And so we've started doing a sort of cooking show on Fridays at 7 p.m. We're on Facebook Live every Friday. It's called Dinner with Dave and Kate. And yes, we've started making bread. We've started trying to cook a lot of plant-based meals because I know there are meat shortages. So we're trying to, remind people about, how easy it is to cook really good food that's also really good for the environment and really healthy. And then we donate a lot of the, we buy extra whatever we're buying, and we donate to food banks and make sure that we're addressing some of the food insecurity that we know is out there. So yeah, that's been a new experience. It's a definite change, but it has been fun, I will say, to get to see so much more of my wife than I did when I was out of the house for 18 hours a day for the last 6 months.
Well, my kids and I have been doing more art projects, which has been a lot of fun. So my daughter just turned 9, and we had a virtual Zoom birthday party for her this weekend, where we dropped off some mosaic art kits from a local small business to some of her friends' homes, and really enjoyed doing that together. So I think we're finding that a fun way to family bond. And my kids and I have also been designing homemade obstacle courses in our backyard to get some exercise and our steps in. So we've tried to really create some family fun along the way in the midst of what's clearly an incredibly hard and challenging time for everybody. And I hope everyone out there watching, and including you, Jack, are safe and healthy, that your families are safe and healthy. And, at this point, I think we've each probably almost definitely experienced a loss of a loved one, or the healthcare or economic implications of what we're all going through, or loved ones who are working on the front lines in the hospitals, and as first responders, in the grocery stores. So my heart is with you, with your colleagues and friends and family, and everybody out there who's watching, with you as well. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you today.